Think about the last time you felt genuinely at peace. No weight in your body, no noise in your head. Just here, present, enough. Same loop, new day. This is what happens when a human being has no access to its stillness. Open your phone, go to your screen time, look at that number. That is not just hours on a device. That is the exact number of hours your conscious, awake, irreplaceable daily life was elsewhere. Absolute freedom from three things: consumption, control, and hallucination. I call it the Shiva consciousness. Your presence is felt before you speak, not because you're loud, because you're real. The person who is genuinely present carries a weight that cannot be manufactured, performed, or faked. Zeroness, the state of being that makes your presence impossible to ignore. Think about the last time you felt genuinely at peace. Not relaxed because nothing bad was happening. Not calm because the to-do list was done. Actually at peace. No weight in your body, no noise in your head. Just here, present, enough. For most people, they have to go very far back to find that memory. And that distance between who you are right now and the state of being, that distance is the problem. Today, I'm going to show you the exact state that creates it, what it is, where it went, how to return to it. The ancient architecture behind it is something the world has had access for thousands of years, and almost nobody is using it today. Here is the loop most people are stuck inside. Something unwanted happens, you divert yourself into a screen, a conversation, a substance, anything to avoid sitting with it. The diversion brings its own noise. The noise creates more pain. You complain about the pain. The complaining keeps the pain alive. And then the unwanted thing returns. Same loop, new day. This is not weakness. This is what happens when a human being has no access to its stillness. When the only tool available is diversion, there is a name for what is happening to you. It is called consciousness erosion. The phone, the television, the noise, the comparison. These are not just bad habits. They are tools that are actively dissolving your ability to be present in your own life. And here is the proof I want you to look at right now. After this video, open your phone, go to your screen time, look at that number. That is not just hours on a device. That is the exact number of hours your conscious, awake, irreplaceable daily life was elsewhere. Not in your 360 degrees, not in your actual universe, elsewhere. Now look at what this produces at scale. Globally, $5.6 trillion wellness industry. Anxiety still rising year on year. You cannot spend your way out of the loop. $5.6 trillion spent trying to solve a problem that no amount of doing can fix. Because the loop is not broken by adding more to it. It is broken by returning back to zero. Now here is one layer deeper, something we all witness, but almost nobody fully appreciates. Within your 360 degrees, the boundary we established in the last episode, there is one thing that manifests more prominently than anything else. You. Not your name, not your career, not your opinions. you, the consciousness standing at the center of your universe. And here is the cosmic law behind it. There is an entire universe inside you. There is no difference between the universe inside you and the existence as it manifests around you. The law that governs the cosmos outside governs the cosmos within. They are not separate. They are the same system expressed at different scales. Modern language has many names for this. Law of attraction, law of correspondence, law of manifestation. What ancient wisdom called it does not matter. What matters is the consequence. When you spend your reality outside your 360 degrees, when your consciousness is permanently elsewhere, you are unknowingly manifesting your outer life to be broken, unintentional, and unwanted. Not as a punishment, but as a direct reflection. The outer life is a mirror of the inner state. When the inner state is eroded, fragmented, distracted, running on noise, the outer life reflects exactly that. This is not a spiritual theory. This is the most observable pattern in any human life. Look at yours honestly and you will see it. The phone in your hand right now is not just a device. Every hour spent inside it is an hour your inner universe goes unattended. And an unattended inner universe produces an unintentional outer life every time. So the question is, what does an attended inner universe actually looks like? What is the state of being that stops the loop, heals the erosion, and restores the mirror? There is an archetype for this, and it has existed for longer than any modern solution. I want to introduce you to a concept. I call it Zeroness. I call it Shunya. I call it the Shiva consciousness. And the clearest image of it is one on your screen, is one of the oldest archetype on this planet. Picture this: a man sitting in bare clothes, eyes closed, a snake resting on his neck, not threatening him, resting. Because he is the kind of being that even the most dangerous things in existence feel safe around. This is the iconography of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is not about a religion. And let me clear this here, that I am not speaking to you about religion. I am speaking to you about architecture. Shiva is the ideal of sovereign masculinity, not because of his power to destroy, but because of his absolute freedom from three things: consumption, control, and hallucination. Consumption, the compulsive need to fill yourself with external things to feel whole. Control, the compulsive need to manage how everything around you unfolds. And hallucination, living inside a perceived reality that has nothing to do with what is actually here. Three diseases, three roots of the loop. And Shiva is the archetype of the being who has not just reduced these three, but has dissolved them completely. That is Zeroness. Zero is not the end of something. Zero is not emptiness. Zero is not withdrawal. Zero is the origin of your universe. It is the state from which everything real is created. Every genuine idea, every lasting relationship, every real contribution comes from the person who has access to zero. The gurus knew it. The sages knows this. But you do not need to leave the world to access it. You need to stop letting the world take you out of it every morning before you have even stood up. So here is the mandate. Slow, right, down. Not as a lifestyle choice, as a deliberate architectural correction. Because here is what your baseline should feel like. I want you to really hear this. When you smile, you should not need a reason. That is not poetic idea. That is the correct biological and energetic default of a human being operating from zero. When you feel no weight in your body, no heaviness in your chest, no pressure behind your eyes, no tightness in your shoulders, that is not a reward for a good day. That is the natural state, the one the loop stole from you. And the final thing, when you achieve zeroness, even partially, even briefly, something changes in how you move through this world. You stop needing to announce yourself. You stop needing to perform your value. You stop needing people to recognize what you're bringing into the room. And hear this very carefully. When you are operating from zero, your presence is felt before you speak. Not because you're loud, because you're real, because you're actually there. And in a world of people who are permanently elsewhere, the person who is genuinely present carries a weight that cannot be manufactured, performed, or faked. The loop that has been running inside you, the diversion, the noise, the erosion, was never a corrected flaw. It was the result of never being shown that zero was available to you. It always was. It still is. You were not built for the loop. You were built for this. The stillness that precedes everything real. The state where the smile needs no reason, where the body carries no borrowed weight, where the presence walks in before the words do. That is zeroness. That is what you are returning to, not achieving, returning, because it was always already yours. Now share this video with someone who has forgotten what their own peace feels like. Someone who is running the loop and does not yet know there is a way out of it. This might be the most important thing they see today. And remember, this is not an advice. This is the code. See you at sunrise.